Good morning and welcome to TWS Surveys. Here again for another video blog post in our series. Today I'm going to be looking a little bit at Maslow's hierarchy, but I'm going to frame it up with a very contemporary issue, which is how do we lead and manage in troubled times. I'm going to start out by telling you a little story. A few years back I was doing a leadership course and we got together as this team and we were called the Men of Mal, because it turns out on our team we were the only team with all men, and so we were called Mum. And one of my great friends on that team, Calvin, was terrified of heights. And one day they sent us out to these rope courses, and I live in British Columbia, and we had these very tall cedar trees, and they had these little wires on the top of these trees extend out, and we were supposed to go up there in pairs and hold hands against each other and walk out on these wires and lean up against each other and spread out as we go further and further and further. Well, it turns out I'm a little bit afraid of heights as well. And as I said, Calvin is terrified of heights. And so I said, well, you know, I'm going to volunteer to go with Calvin. And because we had some other guys on our teams that were like monkeys. This was easy to them. They didn't understand what the problem was. But I said, I'm going to go with you, Calvin. We started shimmying up this tree, getting a little higher and a little higher and on these little sticks. And Calvin looked at me and said, Ryan, I need you. He says, I need you like I need my wife. I got a little nervous at that time. Calvin's a big guy. I got a little uncomfortable. But it turns out he was just connecting with me because he was terrified. And what this did for me is I focused in on him. And I said, I need to help Calvin. And the whole time we were going up there, I said, Calvin, get your hand here. Let's go there. We can do this. We can do this. And we got out on that wire and we extended out and hips out, hands full out. And we got wider and wider. And lo and behold, we laid right out and then our safety gear caught us. And we came down to the ground and we were both so excited. So why do I tell you this story? The thing I learned most, and that one experience underlined it most in my life, is when I'm focused on others, when I'm focused on their needs and helping them, my fears and my anxieties and my insecurities reduce. And then I'm focused on mission, I'm focused on purpose. What am I here trying to do? And so now as we look at, you know, how do we manage and lead in these uncertain, troubled times, there's a tendency, because as you can see over my shoulder here, it's Maslow's hierarchy. There's a tendency based on our training, if we were trained in business, education, humanities, arts, all these different places start out with this fundamental belief that we have a hierarchy of needs, that we start out with food and shelter and then security, and we work up to these other higher order needs. What I'm challenging right now is saying that if we seek to solve the bottom to get to the top, that we might actually be missing the point. And what we actually need to do is focus on our collective purpose, focus on others, focus on accomplishing our goals, and these other needs come in line. Now that being said, Maslow is still very useful. We have to understand in these times that people have great anxieties about security and they focus in on self. And so us as leaders, as people trying to engage them, we need to help them focus on others. And ironically, this will also help us with our own anxieties during these times. The more I'm trying to serve and help the team that I'm on and the team that I'm leading, the better off I'll be, and more likely that we'll be successful and you know, navigate our way through, because that will free us up to do what we actually need to do, as opposed to protecting ourselves and getting caught on a negative cycle. So hopefully you find some usefulness in that story. I know that it's impacted me for my life, and when I remember it and I practice it, it still impacts me. Having a great time here. My baby's still on the way. We're officially due May 2nd, so I'm hoping we'll have another little one running around here very soon. By the time I do my next video blog post, I might be so lucky. If not, I'll keep you updated. Take care. Ryan Williams out. Thanks for Ali doing the video today, and we'll talk to you soon.